Put your left hand on your chest right now. Feel that rhythm, that heartbeat, what you are feeling right now. It doesn't stop when you sleep. It goes on all night, while the world shuts down, while thoughts quiet down, while the body surrenders. That rhythm continues without you deciding it, without you controlling it. But there is something that does change while you sleep, and it shows every morning. Have you ever woken up feeling more tired than when you went to bed? You slept the hours. Your body was in bed, but when you opened your eyes, something was missing. A weight you can't name to the doctor, a feeling that during the night something was in your room and took something away. It's not age, it's not stress. It has an origin, and most people have felt it at least once. That dawn when rest simply did not arrive. Jesus knew this. He knew exactly what happens in the body while you sleep, where what doesn't belong to you enters, and how to stop it. Not with a long prayer, not with a complex ritual, but with a single position and something else. What is it that makes that position truly work? In this video, you will understand what the archons are and exactly how they operate during sleep. You will know why the church suppressed this teaching for 2,000 years, and you will learn what position Jesus taught and the exact order in which it must be done to work. Because I need to tell you something before you keep watching. The position alone is not enough. There are people who sleep in the correct position their whole lives and feel no difference because what Jesus taught that night wasn't just a way to position the body, it was a sequence, an intention, a specific three-step order that, if broken, turns the sacred position into an ordinary one. Without that order, your body is facing the right direction, but the door remains closed. At the end of this video, you will have that complete sequence, but it will only work if you understand everything that precedes it. That night, Jesus noticed that something was wrong with the sleep of one of his disciples. He approached, leaned in, and observed. The disciple was sleeping on his left side, knees drawn up, face turned toward the earth. He touched his shoulder, not roughly but firmly. The disciple woke up. Opening his eyes, he saw Jesus' face in the darkness among the olive trees, looking at him. "Get up," Jesus said. "Do not sleep like that." The disciple sat up, bewildered. He rubbed his eyes. "Master, what is wrong?" Jesus did not answer immediately. He looked at the place where the disciple had been lying, turned to the left, face down. Then he said, "This position is an invitation." The disciple did not fully understand. An invitation. To what? Jesus stood on the wrong side. At night, the body softens, defenses fall, doors crack open, and the direction you are facing determines where that door opens. A moment ago, you were lying open to the wrong side. The disciple stood up straight. A chill ran through him. It wasn't the cold of the night. It was something else. "And what is the correct position?" he asked. Jesus looked at him and remained silent for a long moment. Then he said, "Giving the right answer without you first understanding what is wrong is like handing over a key without the lock. Sit down. Listen." And that night, Jesus spoke to the disciple about the nature of the night, about what sleep is, about why the body is so exposed during the hours of darkness, and about why that exposure is actually a form of power if used correctly. No part of this teaching ever entered the history of the church, because this teaching said something the church could not allow. At night, you are not unprotected. On the contrary, in the hours of darkness, you can be at your most powerful. But for that, the body must be positioned in a certain way. Your sleeping position is not a preference. It is an antenna. When you are oriented in the right direction, what you receive while you sleep changes. When you are oriented in the wrong direction, you leave a door open. The church knew this and hid it, because a person who protects their night wakes up differently in the morning. A person who trusts the source they carry inside, not the institution. And that person does not need intermediaries. Jesus did not give this teaching to the disciple all at once. First, he explained something to him. He explained what the night is. Because to understand the sleeping position, you first have to understand the structure of the night. Think about this. Every morning when you wake up, how much time passes until you truly join the day? Sometimes you pray. There are times when you never quite join it. The day ends and you are still talking to the previous day. But some mornings, few, but it happens. You open your eyes and there is something different, a lightness, a clarity, as if you had rebooted during the night. The mind in silence, the body calm, thoughts yet to begin. Have you ever wondered why that difference exists? Most people explain it by the quality of their sleep. I slept well that night, or I slept deeply. But Jesus told his disciple, good sleep and powerful sleep are not the same thing. Good sleep is the rest of the body. Powerful sleep is the nourishment of the soul. And the soul is nourished through a door opened in the right direction. This phrase is 2,000 years old, but it describes exactly what you felt this morning. There are nights when your body sleeps, but you wake up without having rested. And there are nights when you only slept a few hours, but in the morning you feel that a weight is gone. What cannot be explained by fatigue, Jesus' language explains with something else. Which side of the night found you? Put your hand on your chest right now, just for a moment. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm continues during the night. While you sleep, while the sound of the world fades, that rhythm does not stop. And in Jesus' teaching, that rhythm is a signal. The body is always connected. The question is, to what? The noise of the day masks that connection, but at night the noise ceases, and then the body, if oriented in the right direction, can open a door that has been closed for years. Jesus did not call it a door, he called it a softening. The body softens during sleep and defenses fall. And in that moment of softening, what enters depends on how you have positioned your body. The disciple asked, but what about the fears and the dark things that belong to the night? Jesus replied, when the body is oriented in the right direction, fears cannot enter through that door. The door is not for them. The door opens for the light. But a body oriented in the wrong direction leaves a door open to the darkness without knowing it. This phrase appears in different ways in Gnostic texts. In the passages of the Gospel of Philip found in Nag Hammadi in 1945, there is talk of the body's position during the night, of how the disciples asked, and of how Jesus answered. The church did not include these passages in the canonical texts. It did not include them because this knowledge makes the individual capable on their own. And now that teaching reaches here. But first, you need to understand something. If you have heard the word archon or found it in previous videos, it briefly has its place here. In Gnostic teaching, archons represent forces that influence consciousness. Think of it like a computer virus. It is not directly visible, but its effect on the system is felt. And the moments of greatest influence, especially when the body softens, when defenses fall, are during sleep. This is not a fear-based framework, as if demons were entering. Quite the opposite. Jesus told his disciple that night, at night you are not unprotected, but if the position is incorrect, your body opens from the wrong side, and what you receive while you sleep does not belong to you. And what is the correct position? Sleeping on the right side, turn to your right, your left hand on your chest exactly over the point of the heart, your right hand free, either at your side or slightly bent, your knees slightly bent, your head slightly tilted forward, not completely straight, but just barely toward your chest. Stop for a moment. Visualize this position in your mind. If you are sitting right now, feel how your body could turn to that side, your right shoulder down, your left hand on your chest. That orientation is already telling you something. Your body recognizes this shape. Why this position? Jesus explained it to his disciple like this. The right side is the active side, and the left side is the receptive side. When you lie on your right, the active side faces the earth. Your struggle with the world is closed off. The receptive side faces upward and remains open to what comes from above. When the left hand is over the heart, two things happen. The rhythm of the heart is felt, and the hand brings an intention to the heart. The hand is not just there, the hand is a seal. The seal of this night, the heart is protected. The disciple listened to this explanation and paused. He fell silent. Then he said, I have been sleeping on my left side for years. I have a hard time getting up in the mornings, as if I hadn't slept. Jesus looked at him. When the body is oriented in the right direction, sleep is not a burden, it is a gift. And the body oriented in the wrong direction fights all night, and the body that has fought wakes up tired. You recognize what that disciple felt. That feeling of, I slept 8 hours, but it's as if I hadn't slept. Those mornings when your body gets up as if it had been fighting all night. No one had correctly told you the reason for those mornings until today. And how does science respond to this? It cannot fully explain it, but it knows this. Sleeping on the right side aligns with the anatomical position of the heart. Its effect on blood flow has been measured. Sleeping on the left side puts pressure on the heart. This is a medical fact, and placing the hand over the heart while sleeping through tactile stimulation activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It reduces the stress response and causes the body to soften. Doctors know this, but they do not know the dimension of which side this position opens up to during the night, because science cannot look there. But you already know. Those nights you slept next to your grandmother, or those mornings when you were so exhausted that you just dropped and slept deeply. You noticed it. Those mornings were different. You had no explanation, but the difference existed. Jesus gave a name to that difference. The disciple learned the position, but then asked, "And the mind?" The mind does not stop when you lie down. Thoughts come, fears come, the weight of tomorrow comes. Jesus answered him, "The position does not silence the mind. The position only points the direction, and you cannot silence the mind. But you can determine in which direction it makes noise." And here comes the second layer of the teaching. Along with the position before sleeping, a single phrase of intention. It would translate like this: "Tonight my body rests, but I am open." Just that. You don't need to say it out loud. Under the hand that is over the heart, it is said from within. The disciple asked, "What if I don't believe? What if in that moment there is doubt inside me?" Jesus replied, "You do not need to believe. The door does not open with faith as a tool. The door opens with intention as a tool. As long as the intention is, maybe it will work, it is enough. Doubt does not close the door. It only makes it harder to open the first time. But if the hand is there, if the position is correct, the door cracks open on its own. This distinction is fundamental. For years, you were blamed for a lack of faith. You don't have enough faith, they told you. Pray more, they told you. Be more worthy, they told you. But Jesus told his disciple, faith is the result, not the tool. First, open the door. Faith comes along with what enters through that door. This is not a ritual. It is the description of a door. And what passes through that door is noticed in the morning. Not immediately, not always, but not after a great sleep. Something small but real. Some mornings when you open your eyes, you're already there. Thought has not yet begun. Something took you earlier and released you, silent and light. Notice your shoulders right now. Lower them a little. You were tensing them without realizing it. That small loosening is the connection to this moment right now. It is the instant when Jesus' teaching speaks to the body. But before continuing, I need to say something. When some people hear this teaching, an inner voice arises. It can't be that simple. That voice is not wrong, because the system taught you for years that the sacred is complex. There are rules that require ritual. There are hours, there are places, there are intermediaries. And that is exactly why Jesus' most powerful teachings, the simplest ones, never entered the canonical text. Because if a teaching can be applied on its own, there is no place for the institution, a position, a hand, a phrase of intention. That is all. The church knew this, and this teaching was gradually suppressed over centuries in church history. The position of the body is not a ritual, they said. You cannot carry intention during sleep, they said. These types of teachings come from paganism, they said. Every time a different wrapping, but the result was always the same. The human being was left as a stranger within their own night, and every morning they woke up heavy. I want to ask you something. Is there any morning in your life, do you remember it, when everything was different? You opened your eyes and there was nothing. There was no burden. There was no anxiety. There was no problem to solve immediately. You were just whole, and that feeling lasted a few minutes. Then the weight of the day arrived, but you let those minutes pass without asking. In that moment, you saw a door. That door is there every night. The question is, how do you sleep? Let's move on to the practice now. 3 steps tonight, not at another time. Tonight. First step, turn to your right side. Just that. You might not be used to it. Maybe you sleep on your left, maybe on your back. Tonight, turn to your right, knees slightly bent, head slightly tilted forward. Do not force your body, just guide it gently. Second step, put your left hand on your heart, exactly in the center. Do not press, just touch. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm is going to continue all night, and having your hand there brings an intention to the heart. Third step, say it on the inside. It can be words, it can be a feeling. Both ways are valid. Tonight I am open. Just that, no church, no intermediaries. Just you and your hand on your heart in that voice. Then let it go. Do not try to sleep. You will sleep anyway. Just stay in that position. The first night, maybe nothing will be different. That is normal. The body needs time to get used to a new language. It has been sleeping in one direction for years. It doesn't change in a single attempt, but the direction is already set, and that is enough to start. On the second or third night, you might notice something. You can't define it exactly, but the difference exists. It is not dramatic. It is not a vision. It is not a revelation. It is something more subtle. Maybe you wake up more easily. Maybe your first thought is different, calmer, less burdened, maybe just a little lighter, as if something that was normally stuck to you during the night wasn't there this time. And a week later, you might notice this. You had an exhausting day, but in the morning that tiredness is not entirely there, as if something had been cleansed during the hours of darkness. The past day is left behind. Today is today. People around you sometimes ask, what happened to you? You can't explain it, but you know. Something shifted. After a month, some people notice that what they see during sleep changes. Dreams are sharper, or on the contrary, less chaotic, less burdened with the worries of the day, as if something had settled inside. The body already recognizes the night. It no longer fears it, it knows it. And the night is no longer made of resistance, but of familiarity. Now I need to be honest with you. After doing this practice, a voice will come from within. What nonsense was that? Or I didn't notice any difference. Or the more insidious version, I'll do it tomorrow. That voice is not yours. That voice is the voice of a program that does not want you to establish this connection, a program written inside you for years. The divine is complex, access is difficult, intermediaries are needed. That program speaks exactly now. Exactly at the moment you are going to do this practice, because doors are locked in front of what has value. Empty rooms do not have locks. When that voice comes, smile, because that voice is the proof that it is working. And one more thing, Jesus taught the disciple the position that night, but the teaching had a continuation, because the position opens something, and what opens needs a door to sustain it. That door is outside. Jesus told his disciples which door was protected, what plant should be hung on that door, and why. The disciple also asked about that day and said, if the inside is ready, what will happen to the outside? Jesus smiled. It was one of his rare smiles. The disciples rarely saw it. You ask me about the outside, but asking about the outside without having yet known the inside is like asking how the weather is without opening the window. The disciple understood. First tonight, first the inside. That part is not here tonight, but I can tell you this. When you start with the sleeping position tonight, when you wake up with that knowledge, the teaching that comes will settle much more deeply, because without the inside being prepared, the outside makes no sense. And without the outside being prepared, the inside remains unprotected. The two together form a whole, but there is an order. First, the inside. Tonight, turn to your right. If this video showed you the door to something, even if it's small, even if it's vague, you can leave something in the comment box, what you felt, where you paused, or simply carry it in silence. That is also valid. And if there is someone in your life who has never asked themselves this question, why is the night so heavy? Why does the morning come so hard? Send this video in silence, without explanation, just the link. Sometimes the greatest gift is showing a door. If this teaching has transformed your way of seeing rest in the mysteries of the night, subscribe and like our channel. We are unearthing the history they tried to hide. It is time to sow the future. The next treasure of wisdom will open very soon.